Hey everyone, welcome back to another Do a Lesson with Us video. I'm just jumping right into it today. Sorry for not doing an intro, but we're just going to show you a lesson in our Notgrass History Uncle Sam and You course, which is a United States civics course. Now, this is something that I kind of, play by ear. I don't really have a set way of doing it every single day. Sometimes I'll read the entire lesson to my son. Sometimes we'll do team reading. Sometimes I'll have him read some things ahead of time. On this particular day, I just asked him to read the scripture for the lesson, and then we would discuss it when I got back downstairs after helping my daughter with something she needed help with. So I've joined him now on the couch to just go through what the scripture means and how it might apply to our local government. This particular lesson is all about our local city hall and all the jobs that they do. And so we will go through that scripture, and then we will go ahead and start reading the lesson. Now, sometimes my daughter will join us for this. On this particular day, she really didn't want to, so she was kind of off doing her own thing. You will see her later on in the video pop back in and join us, but not really doing what we're doing, just kind of doing her own thing, and that's totally fine with me. So the actual lesson itself starts right about here in the video. So I'll let you hear a little bit of what we're reading, and then I'll pop back in and explain some other things to you.
For much of American history, most people live in small towns and rural areas, but over time, more people started living in larger towns and cities. In 1920, the U.S. Census showed that for the first time, the majority of Americans lived in towns of 2,500 or more. Do you know that now 70% of Americans live in cities of 50,000 or more? Mentor has 55,000 people. Our town has 55,000 people. Now the purpose,
50,000.
yeah, the purpose of a town or city government is to govern, protect, and provide services for people who live there. What services of protection does our town provide?
Policemen.
The policemen, the firemen. What other kind of ways does our town protect us from falling on the ice and slipping and sliding as we drive? The big orange or the big yellow city plows that come down the street? They're there to protect us, and our city provides those. What about being able to see when we walk at nighttime down the sidewalks so we don't trip? The street lights and even the sidewalks. The city government provides those things. New towns and cities are organized every year. Most are former rural areas that became a large city where more and more houses were built and people moved there.
Okay, so I just go through the rest of the lesson, kind of stopping from here or there to apply it as I was doing there, so that my son, my son can make connections instantly with the things we're learning in the lesson to our own town. And as you can see, my daughter has decided to join us, but she brought some science books that she wanted to look through and pick out some experiments she wanted to do later. So I told her that was fine. She could just look at those quietly while brother and I finished our history lesson. Now, for this particular lesson, there were quite a few pictures, and my son really likes to go through and talk about where those things are. So we will take time doing that. And by this point in the lesson, I could see that he was kind of growing weary with the text reading itself. So I started to kind of pick out important things and um, summarize a bit, only pulling out, for example, the type of government that we have in our city, which is the council manager system. And then we talked about who those different individuals were, and then kind of moved on. And I will show you at the very end of this video just what I read and didn't read when I look inside the book and show you that. So here I'm just starting to wrap up. I'll kind of let you listen in and see how we finish our lesson for the day.
In your notebook today, it says to take a picture or draw a picture of you in one of your favorite places in your city or town. Where would that be for you?
Don't show any places.
favorite place to go on town? I'll let you think about it. You,
Do I have to draw?
huh?
Can I find a picture instead of draw?
Where would you find a picture of it? I don't think I saved the magazine that came from our town. You can draw it. So go ahead and draw a favorite picture, or you enjoying your favorite spot in our town, okay? That's going to be the first thing in your independent book, okay? So go get your independent book.
So here's a brief look inside the lesson that we actually did today. It was called Around City Hall, lesson 87, and I started off reading pretty much all of this word for word with my son, and then when we got to this point in the lesson, I could just see just a little bit of disengagement there, and so I actually just highlighted out of these different types of government for a city. I highlighted what our city follows, which is the council manager model, and so I focused on mainly reading this portion to him and just kind of highlighting that there are other options available. Same thing with this section, just kind of highlighting what the other options were, and then we kind of for this section just pointed out the services that our city provides for us, and then I finished up by reading pretty much word for word that end section there. So really the only thing that I cut out was this part here and a little bit in here. Everything else I pretty much read, and that was one lesson for us in the Uncle Sam and You from Notgrass. These were the activities that were available, and I chose to do the Thinking Biblically activity and the Picture This activity as well. This down here was another drawing activity, so I just let him pick whether he wanted to do this drawing prompt or the drawing prompt that was provided in his notebook, and he chose this one, but he did it in the space in his student notebook. So that is what the actual content of the lesson looked like, in case you're curious. All right, so there you have a sample lesson in our home for using the Uncle Sam and You course from Notgrass History. Now, I will give you a few other little details here about our lesson and how I bring in my kindergartner. First of all, the lesson itself, from the time I turned the camera on and you saw my son reading the memory verse or the scripture verse to keep in mind while we read the lesson, from the time he started doing that until the time I stopped reading and gave him his assignment was 15 minutes. But I was not reading that entire time because I was up here for the first 3 or 4 minutes with my daughter getting her set so that we could do history. And then his assignment portion actually only took about 5 minutes to do, which is typical. Some days where he has to look up a lot of stuff in the book, it can take 10 minutes or so, but that's usually all the more it takes. I don't really let him struggle too much with those assignments because I'm not looking for mastery at this level. When it comes to civics, I'm just looking for exposure. So I let him know if he can't find it right away to just leave it and ask mommy later. So the assignments, 5-10 minutes max. So that is the timing of it all. And then as far as my younger daughter, you saw she just kind of came in there at the end. She actually brought some science books, some Usborne science books in because she didn't feel like she wanted to be done with science. She loves it and she wanted to do more science. We had actually already completed our science lesson at the timing of this history lesson today, but she wanted to do some more, and I really do not require her to sit in on our history readings. I do ask her to sit there for science because she did ask me to buy her own science book this year, and she really loves it. So she does sit with us for science, but then I let her go and let her choose whether she wants to come and listen. I have shown you before in previous videos, and I'll link those below, of how I found resources on the Homeschool History site by Notgrass to bring in a younger student, and I have gotten those over time, and she's enjoyed those, but just not enough really to sit there kind of consistently at history time. She'd rather go play until it's her time to do kindergarten work with mommy. So for most history lessons, she does not join in with us, but occasionally she'll kind of overhear something that she thinks is interesting and she'll just come on over. So that's how it goes with my little kindergartner. I have actually shown a different video, or actually, I think I did a blog post about how I attempted to incorporate her in our study of Washington, D.C., and I will leave that link down below if you want to catch that blog post, because that actually was something she did enjoy doing. And with that, I think that's everything I wanted to share with you today about this lesson. If you want to pick up the Notgrass course, I will leave a link down below to their website where you can get a sample unit to try out in your home, and then go ahead and purchase it if it's success for you. And also, I will leave down below my planning video where I planned out how I intend to use this course from here to the end of the year. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you're subscribed and stay tuned for more lesson videos with us, just as a way to see how one homeschool mom does it, to encourage you on your journey through homeschool and see if some of our little tips and tricks can help you have smoother lessons. Take care, everyone. I'll catch you in the next video.